When you go home, tell one of us and say, for your tomorrow, we
Well, that went off nice and peacefully. I've never, I'm being funny, but I've seen more police at that cenotaph today, and I've seen police in all of the protests for the last 5 weeks. I have to say, Sky News should be ashamed of itself. Along the bottom, scrolling all the time, you know, the banner going along the bottom. Fighting has reportedly broken out as people attempt to reach the cenotaph in London. What a lie. Maybe we could see some pictures of this so-called fighting because anyone who's anyone is at the cenotaph and being very peaceful and respectful, including Tommy Robinson. So I think people have set out today to prove a point, and they've succeeded. What the rest of the day brings, I don't know. But the main thing for me is that the 2-minute silence was indeed observed. And my sons from around the country, whilst they're at remembrance services, tell me there's no problems in Staffordshire and there's no problems in County Durham, there's no problems in Hampshire, and there's no problems. I can't say the other place, but there's no problems there either. So I'm really happy to be able to tell you this, guys, that they haven't won. They never will win. And as Winston Churchill said, never surrender what we believe in for the rights that were fought for and for which people died for. The pro-Palestine march can now go ahead. Who cares? Not me. Let them get on with it. But hopefully they will be made to stay away from Whitehall completely this weekend. I mean, London's a pretty big city, therefore they can parade around and do what they like. Harass ordinary people, harass tourists. You know, they can basically harass who they like, according to Rowley, that silly police commissioner that doesn't know what he's talking about. But yeah, it's really good to see that it went off with no problems. But I have to ask the question, would it have been the same if a certain man hadn't put a call out to the men of Britain to come down to the cenotaph? And yeah, for this, I've got to respect each and every one of them who turned up today. I mean, it's not just about London, obviously, it's about the rest of the country too. And with the size of family I've got, I can't, like I said, I can report that lots of it has gone off peacefully. It's just sad that it had to come to this, really, where normally, remembrance, the actual Remembrance Day, Armistice Day, would go off no problem, and there wouldn't have been all this worry and concern leading up to it. Absolutely ridiculous that was allowed to happen. And personally, I blame the police, I blame the government, and I blame those individuals who protest every weekend for something that is out of our control. Even if our government was to say to Israel, we want a ceasefire, Israel could say, yeah, well, you can fuck off because we're going to do what we want to do. So I don't see what the protest is achieving. I don't see why they're doing it. Well, it's a show of strength, isn't it? It's an absolute show of strength by a certain religion, of which now I will take no notice of, because if tomorrow goes off like today, and I think it will, being as the king is there, there's not going to be any problem. And they're free to go and protest and harass, and scare tourists, ordinary people going about their business in London, Manchester, Liverpool and other places. I mean, let's hope the rest of the weekend goes off just as peacefully. And for all the people who went to the cenotaph, the patriots, you made me very proud today. Very proud indeed. Yeah, let's just see what's happening with the patriots down there. Now, of course, it's buffering. It wouldn't be. Oh, there's some veterans. I see this kind of respect. This kind of respect is. Oh, let's see what she's saying, shall we?
Service, they're concluding
people laying their wreaths of poppies there either. But it's an unusual weekend, isn't it? Because there's this confluence of events. There are the events that take place every year with great solemnity that we have just been showing on our screens there to mark the servicemen and women in conflicts over the decades, but also this march taking place today, the pro-Palestinian march, which has been excluded from going near the cenotaph where you are.
Yeah, that's right. So we're on the edge of the exclusion zone that's been set up around the cenotaph. You might just be able to make it out over my shoulder around 100 metres or so down Whitehall, and the 2-minute silence here was observed with typical solemnity. And it's quite unusual, of course, to see this very busy street in the heart of London here so still, and here it's so quiet. There will now be a service held by the Western Front Association, and there will also be a service to my left through Horse Guards Parade over here. But the calm that accompanied the 11 o'clock moment was in stark contrast to what we witnessed around 20 minutes before that, when there were clashes and skirmishes between what the police call counter-protesters and some of the officers here who have been stationed at the cenotaph because of what is happening today. So hundreds, if not thousands, of what we call what the Met are calling counter-protesters are here. They say to defend the cenotaph and support the armed forces. That's after the
look at all the police, look.
The founder of the far-right English Defence League, rallied his supporters online early in the week, telling them to come to London to protect the cenotaph, in his words, in light of that pro-Palestine march being held.
Are they going to show this fighting then?
A lot of his affiliates and like-minded groups have also sent out messages to their supporters too. So thousands, I'd say, are now here. A lot of them with flags. They are chanting.
What, we're not allowed flags?
Actually, they're chanting things like "England till I die." You're not English anymore. At the police officers who are here, there was pushing, there was shoving, there was shouting at police officers, and we saw some bottles thrown. We were in amongst it at one point, and it did feel.
Well, you didn't film it, and where's the recording?
Police officers were very keen to try and keep the crowds into the areas where there's
such lies
behind the metal barriers that they've put out here, away from the cenotaph. So others, members of the public, veterans, families have also gathered.
Such lies.
And behind the metal barriers that they've put out here, away from the cenotaph. So others, members of the public, veterans, families have also gathered, can also.
What did he say? I'll go back a minute. Oh.
Part of London here so still, and here it's so quiet. There will now be a service held by the Western Front Association, and there will also be a service so quiet. There will now be a service by the West.
Anyway, what he implied more or less then, if you want to rewind, maybe you hear it again yourselves, but, you know, apparently the Patriots were holding flags and telling the police that they weren't English anymore, and that's aggressive. Oh my God. I mean, are these people for real? What do these people think the rest of Britain is about? Do they I can't believe that Sky has reported this. And he said, that guy there, he said he was in the thick of the so-called fighting. Well, where is it? Because if you were in the thick of it, being a news reporter, yeah, you would have made sure you got it. You would have made sure you got that footage. But it doesn't look like you did, does it? Because it didn't happen. And he mentioned Tommy Robinson. Well, everything Tommy Robinson did was peaceful. It went off really peaceful. Sky are liars. They are liars. I had both streams on. I had Mayor Tusi on, and I've got Sky on. Nowhere have I seen any fighting. Still, no fighting. What? Oh, is this annoying them? See, I've waited 4 weeks to hear things like that. 4 weeks I've waited for the men of Britain to come out and sing, chant things like that. I don't find it offensive. I don't find it aggravating. There's nothing about it. They were carrying flags, were they? What, the Union Jack, the St George's flag, the Welsh flag, the Scottish flag? What, are all them not supposed to be carried apart from the Palestinian flag? Go fuck off. I'm proud of what they did today. I just hope the rest of the day goes off peacefully.